Okay, part 3. Try to hurry up. So, while Appearances stands alone, other poems in the collection paint a stark picture of emotional deprivation. Um, Animals and Yellow Dahlia, for example, further explore the bitter rivalry between the sisters. In Animals, the speaker confesses, "We never moved our eyes from each other, nor did either touch one thing that could feed her sister." And in Lost Love, Glick calls her mother's heart cold and rigid after the death of Glick's infant sister. For me, Ariat was the lens through which I could better understand Glick's poetry as well as her impetus for writing. In my letter, I further explore how the pain of Glick's childhood drove her to write, and that the process of art as a way to metabolize pain is a large part of her philosophy of writing. In the last decade or so, Glick has matured not so much in her mastery of her craft, which she has already reached, but in her understanding and acceptance of the world, both its tragedies and its quiet miracles. Her poetry, too, has lost some of its depressive qualities. Glick describes the process of getting older leading to the increased pleasures of ordinary life. She says, "My yearning towards perfection has been periodically less punishing. In its place, a somewhat greater capacity for contentment and gratitude." This is clearly reflected in her poetry, as her last several volumes seem to reflect a more moderated view of life. 2009's A Village Life especially reveals this. In moving away from the mythic structures and stories, Glick focuses on the beauty of the earth and a simple life surrounded by nature. Many of these later poems delight in the fields of stars in the night sky, the snowy mountains surrounding a village, the beauty in the olive trees, the death of autumn and winter, the birth of spring. While I don't think a Glick poem will ever be a celebration of anything, in her quiet way, it seems like her poems are reminding us that the natural and simple things of the earth can at least provide moments of respite, if not outright healing. My third poem is Pastoral from A Village Life. The first stanza, "The sun rises over the mountain. Sometimes there's mist, but the sun's behind it always, and the mist isn't equal to it. The sun burns its way through like the mind-defeating stupidity. When the mist clears, you see the meadow." This is a reminder that just because you can't see something doesn't mean it isn't there. Whatever is blocking the speaker from seeing the truth, she knows that the sun will eventually burn through. Stanza 2. "No one really understands the savagery of this place, the way it kills people for no reason, just to keep in practice." Savagery is a great word here, a very nice specific choice about the dangerousness of the place. The killing people for no reason to keep in practice suggests the randomness of violence, how little control anyone really has. Stanza 3 is very short. "So people flee, and for a while, away from here, they're exuberant, surrounded by so many choices." The people flee because it's hard to live here, and they're happy for a time. It's interesting that the "for a while" comes first in the sentence, so we already know they're going to be disappointed even before they're allowed to be happy. Stanza 4. "But no signal from earth will ever reach the sun. Thrash against that fact, you are lost." So again, the signal from earth not being able to reach the sun emphasizes how little humans matter, how all of our choices mean nothing, that we have no power. Thrash is a wonderful, unexpected word. It depicts a struggle, but a very physical struggle with your whole body. It doesn't matter whether you fight it or not. You can't change fate. You cannot appeal to any higher power, such as the sun or a god. Stanza 5. "When they come back, they're worse. They think they failed in the city, not that the city doesn't make good its promises. They blame their upbringing, youth ended, and they're back, silent, like their fathers. Sundays in summer they lean against the wall of the clinic, smoking cigarettes. When they remember, they pick flowers for their girlfriends. So the lines about failing in the city show that these people internalize their shame. They take the blame when really it's the city's fault. They leave full of dreams and come back defeated, their youth dead, feeling like they're just like their fathers who, as young people, they swore they would never be. Stanza 6, it makes the girls happy. They think it's pretty here, but they miss the city, the afternoons filled with shopping and talking, what you do when you have no money. The ellipses and dashes here feel almost like a conversation the speaker is having with herself. She's trailing off. She's joining two stanzas with a continued thought, separated by the dash. Stanza 7. To my mind, you're better off if you stay. That way, dreams don't damage you. At dusk, you sit by the window. Wherever you live, you can see the fields, the river, realities on which you cannot impose yourself. So here, with the dreams not damaging you, the speaker injects her own thoughts. It is their failed dreams that damage the silent men. If they didn't have these dreams, they wouldn't have been damaged, and still have a chance, maybe not to be happy, but at least content. The end of this stanza, the realities on which you cannot impose yourself, it is nature which we cannot change, the mountains, the rivers. The people, they go to the cities to change their fate, their destiny, but the speaker reminds them that they can't reach the sun. They can't alter the rivers or the fields. 8. To me, it's safe. The sun rises, the mist dissipates to reveal the immense mountain. You can see the peak, how white it is, even in summer, and the sky so blue, punctuated with small pines like spears. This is a very beautiful stanza. The speaker calls it safe. Safe isn't necessarily happy, but it isn't heartbroken and bitter either. The immense mountain line is very lovely. The mountain is something that is immovable and unchangeable. Stanza 9. When you got tired of walking, you lay down in the grass. When you got up again, you could see for a moment where you'd been. The grass was slick there, flattened out into the shape of a body. When you looked back later, it was though you'd never been there at all. Again, this is another metaphor for how fleeting life is. You lay down, you get up. No one, not nature, not the earth, no one cares or can tell that you are even there. 10. Mid-afternoon, midsummer. The fields go on forever, peaceful, beautiful, like butterflies with their black markings. The poppies open. So in this stanza, the peaceful and the beautiful are very vague terms, but the butterflies and poppies in the next lines are very specific and echo that beauty. The speaker brings us back to nature. Nature is beauty and peace, and while it can't give you the dreams of the city, it provides its own type of solace. Before I read my letter, I want to conclude my analysis with a great line Glick said in an interview. My power ends when I get the poem on the page, and after that it belongs not to me, but to someone else, and I can't control what's made of it. I hope that they will find readers who will read them with perception. I hope that they will be worthy of perception, which is even more critical. I love this line. I think it is the litmus test for all poems, if they are to be worthy of perception.